since last week. I do know that good old Sparrow said yesterday to Cameron that the creatives didn't show up to work yesterday, but at Lucasfilm. But I think, to be honest, they probably didn't show up because the strike is going on. So, and those guys are pretty militant. I do want to say that I understand why writers are upset. Hey, Dave, why writers are upset with what's been going on. It has a lot to do with streaming, these mini rooms. Cameron talked about it. I don't understand everything, but when you look at the herky-jerkiness of a lot of shows right now, you kind of see it. Hey, Cross. Hey, Dave. So I understand. So we haven't heard anything. Now, last week, they laid off, 4,000 people? They laid off a few more. There could be 3,000, maybe 1,000 left to lay off. My opinion is, and you guys know this, HR at Lucasfilm is under lock and key. They've been sequestered away, and their emails have been encrypted. So we don't know what's really going on there. I do have to admit, you guys, I did an upload yesterday that it's very, is it counterintuitive if you have a secure account to block someone who already can't see your account? It's just, when I look at the Lucasfilm employees that are on the list every day on through Twitter, just see what they're saying. And they've been very benign on their Twitter accounts. Maybe only tweet like once a day. And so you're really, I don't think, gonna get any information like that through them. But I do have to admit, I don't know what the point is of blocking somebody from seeing your already secure account that they can't see. I mean, we all know that Pablo has that private account, and it's been privatized, and it was for God since before the Gina Carano thing. Okay, since before he attacked Star Wars Theory and the rest of us. Okay, because that's what that is. So why he would take the time to, I don't, so, maybe he's part of it. I don't know. All I do know is that it's been real quiet. That doesn't mean nothing's happening, because one of the last things Kamran said on Patreon was that Sparrow told him that there was something big going on by the way the encrypted emails were going on HR side. So I do expect we should at least get some people gone before Kennedy leaves. And with the strike, it might even give Iger the ability to just go in and clean house, period. I mean, I don't know. And again, they could just be getting ready to sell Lucasfilm, which is okay too. I don't, but it depends on who they sell it to. I would like to see them sell it back to George. I would like to see them maybe sell it to somebody who actually would fix what was broken, if they're not going to do it themselves. And of course, yesterday I talked a little bit about the Favreau rumors. No one, okay, that actually is connected believes them. Okay, these are rumors spread by people who want to get clicks. That's it. That's all they want. And he's not going anywhere. I mean, I just got done watching an interview with him talking about Grogu with Dave Filoni, and they were fine together. So it's like, I think someone, you know, somebody at Lucasfilm probably told one of the Black Pill blobs, and they ran with it. Okay, or told, you know, Yellow Flash, or you know, the story came. Look, that story, you gotta look at it like this. Look at it by who benefits. The only people that benefit is the old bitch herself, Kathy Kennedy, and her flying monkeys. That's it. All right. You know, the rumors about her holding him hostage because Favreau hostage because he removed Kyle Ron's mask from the Mandalorian introduction is so fucking stupid. What? You know, if you honestly believe that, I you are intellectually inferior. Okay, if you honestly believe that. The fact that, you know, Jon Favreau is still upset about Gina Carano. Really? That was what she got. That 2021. Luke shows up, or 2020. When was that? Luke shows up, and a few months later, like a month or so later, we're all told through a Deadline article. Well, that's what they're saying. You know, Gina Carano is told through Deadline that she's not coming back to do Star Wars, and he's been holding on to that, a grudge, since then. It is Joanna Bennett's birthday today. The woman not only does the stunts for the Armorer, but she does the stunts. She played the female Tusken Raider in Boba Fett, and she'd be a fine Cara Dune. Okay, that's how you fix that. And if you honestly don't, and if you honestly think that Jon Favreau is still pining after Gina, you're smoking some fine ass dope. And then of course we have my favorite. Dave Filoni is such a Machiavellian spinmeister that he was able to outmaneuver Favreau for control over The Mandalorian. Despite the fact that they get along well, despite the fact that they both worked with George Lucas on the show, on the scripts. Where the fuck do these people get this shit? Okay, no. It is stupid. Okay, so we got that. But I want to talk today about an Inside the Magic story about a very old interview Mark Hamill gave. I'm going to preface this with this. On Twitter, like in 2018, this very mixed up, miserable, probably manic depressive or just completely fucked up kid. Hey Maze, how you doing? Tweeted to Mark Hamill that and asked him if Luke Skywalker was gay. Mark said, if you want him to be, yeah. So in this interview that Inside the Magic had, they're talking about this. And I got to thinking, now, if you are a huge Luke Skywalker fan, I'm going to tell you something right now. Mark Hamill really can't carry Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Just, they're not the same person. They're not. Okay, let's get that out of the way right now. Mark is, he comes off bitter now, a very bitter old man. He won't shut up about politics. That's all he talks about. And it's very difficult, for me anyway, to find any sympathy for him at times. I've had to mute him on Twitter, begged him not to talk about politics, and because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, and when he said that to that kid, he was merely validating that kid's fucked up head. Okay, he was enabling craziness. Okay, if you go look at what George said, how George created the character. No, Luke isn't gay. Okay, just because there's no women in the OT doesn't mean there wouldn't be any later, as the EU pointed out, Mara Jade. Okay, personally, I don't think Luke needed a girlfriend, but that also doesn't mean he's gay either. Okay, I mean, look, it's validating these people, and it is fucking the world up. Okay, so Mark in this interview said it again. If you need him to be gay, he's gay, right? And he's basically allowing himself to be bullied to get virtue signaling brownie points and to look cool to these people. No, 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 no. And the reason why I say no on this is because it goes against canon. I'm going to do a short with something that Steven Spielberg said that I think you guys should hear. He basically, I'll paraphrase it, he said, you don't change movies because we're looking at it through a different lens. You know what I'm saying? I know she is. That's great. I saw that, Dave. And I'm like, he basically is, Spielberg was coming out against wokeness, like changing language, taking guns out of movies and shit like that, or going after James Bond because he's a pussy hound. Okay, it's like, I look at it and I go, he's right. Okay, and it's time now for people in Hollywood that don't like the woke shit, because look, there are plenty of people or Democrats who hate the woke shit. Okay, the censorship of people's language is anathema to people. All right, the fact that the censorship kills creativity. Okay, and that's another thing that they don't like. And Spielberg was, in the subtext of the statement, he said that. Okay. I agree with him. Okay. So, and you've got, this was a long time ago, Mark Hamill virtue signaling like a cricket looking for a date, about Luke being a fag, is just him begging to be hired or begging to be relevant. And honestly, it's stupid. All right, you're asking people who hate you, by the way, because you're an old white man, to like you. All right. And one of the biggest things about this kind of validation is you will get stomped on looking for other people's validation. The only person on the planet that can validate you is you. Okay, and God. That's it. All right. You've got to be happy with who you see in the mirror every day. All right. And these people behave in such a way that, like when the Nashville shooter, and I had some white straight Karen screaming about how the girl wanted to be seen. Okay, so she went and shot 6 people, 3 of which were kids at the age of 9. That's how she was going to be seen. Okay, that's not how you go about it. All right, I don't care. All right, and look, I'm going to tell you a secret. It's really not a secret. People don't give a shit about you. They really don't. All right, I fucking have no cares. All right. all right, if you make me care about something that I find disturbing because you do it and you think little kids should be forced into doing it because you can't, your kind of weird lifestyle doesn't create life, I'm going to take offense. Leave the kids alone. Okay. This is where that community we're talking about has a split. Okay. Plenty of people who live that lifestyle are like, shut the fuck up. Keep us out of it. All right. And, you know, now we've got what they call MAPS, minor attracted persons, going after validity. Hey, T.S. Wade, and getting, run off of Twitter for it. Okay, this is a good thing. All right, this is a good thing. And when you've got this shit going on, and you see fractures in that community, look, we're at a time where it's getting a little bit demonic out there. Dare I say it? Okay, yes. Devil's greatest trick was convincing people he didn't exist. All right, it's true. And when I see people like Jeffrey Marsh, with that, he really is possessed by the devil. I'm almost positive. Talking about how they're really not erasing women. Yes, they are. Okay, look. And I'm going to talk about spirituality for a minute. Satan's biggest enemy, the person he hates the most outside of God, Jesus, is Mary. Okay? All right? And he hates women. So why is this going on now? Okay, you've got, male athletes that can't compete against men, so they go into women's sports, pretending to be women, to win. And when they start winning, they start screaming that the girls complaining about them are transphobic. It's like, you're a guy. Stop it. What the fuck? And there, you've got Dylan Mulvaney doing Oil of Olay commercials and I think makeup stuff now because there aren't any women to do that. Please give me a break, right? They're erasing women. He even said, I make a better woman than women do. He said that. Okay, it's like, and of course, when you got Jeffrey Marsh or any one of these guys wearing makeup, and that's just, when I see a guy wearing women's makeup like that, to me, it's akin to blackface. All right, it's misogynistic. All right, woman face is blackface. Don't fucking do it. When I see one of these people calling normal people, the vast majority of the world, cisgender, that is a slur, and I will call them out. Okay, sick and tired of it. All right, and yet we've got people worried about getting work like Mark Hamill, so he validates some mixed up 15-year-old when he should have said no, he's not. And, wouldn't it be better if you made up your own character for Star Wars? Which is what I would have said. But instead of, he thinks he's being compassionate to the guy. When that's false compassion. When you think about compassion, and let's say you've got a kid who was molested by somebody, and you have more compassion for the adult perpetrator than you do the kid, the victim, that's false compassion. When you've got a woman who was raped and people are more compassionate towards her rapist, that's false compassion. Okay, it's wrong. Okay, it is satanic. All right, and this stuff started decades ago. I mean, like Fulton Sheen in the 1960s had his Catholic evangelistic show where he talked about this stuff, And this stuff was already starting back in the 60s. Okay. He called these people who spread false compassion social slobberers. And they are. And you're not helping somebody who victimized somebody or stole something or murdered someone by boo-hooing them, by excusing them. You're not. It's, you know, and having issues, I'm not gonna, well, how do I frame this? Knowing people who have criminals in their family, and I do know some people like that. It's hard for me to take the parents seriously, okay? When they sit there and say, well, it's blah, blah, blah's fault, my kid did this. No, it's not, it's your fault. It's your fault, it's your kid's fault. Okay, that's it. That's all. Okay, that is where it ends. And you can't and should not enable people by doing this stuff, all right? You should not validate somebody by basically upending 50 years of canon just because they want to feel better about themselves. That's not your job. Okay, Mark Hamill's job is to entertain people. Okay, that's it. That's all he has to do. All right, and Harrison Ford knows that. I mean, when when people would say, may the force be with you, he'd say, no, force yourself, do it. Okay, he's doing it the right way. He's not gonna sit there and say, oh, poor baby. Okay, that can be that way just because you want it to be, because you want to feel better about yourself. Not your job. Not my job. Okay. When I see the crap that these perpetrators of false compassion put out there, it makes me sick because society is weaker for it. Okay. You want the American military to be successful. Why the fuck are we allowing transsexuals in the military? All right. That is pretty much mental illness. It's out there. Why are we having drag queens now recruiting for the Navy? What the actual fuck? That's A, false compassion. B, Generation Z doesn't care about it. And we're being laughed at by the Russians and the Chinese, which is great. Okay. But that's where false compassion gets you. Okay. It gets you to a place you don't want to be. It gets you to a place that harms you and the person who's begging for validation. Okay, because again, if you're looking through validation, for validation through people, you're not going to get it. Okay, and telling someone, fine, think that way if it makes you feel better, isn't helping them. They just get deeper into it. Okay, and and we've got people that are social justice warriors that say shit just to piss normal people off. Okay, I mean, you go to Wikipedia and they've got pronouns in everybody's bios. They've got Luke as a fag, and they got Obi-Wan as a fag, and Tarkin as a fag, and it's a fan thing. It's not canon, but they've got it there, and they're not going to get rid of it until someone. I would say I would buy Wikipedia right now and erase all that shit. Get rid of all of it. And if some SJW cried about it, I'd say, why don't you make up your own space opera, okay, where you can have that shit everywhere? I really don't think so, Parabellum. I don't really, I've never heard that. I don't know where that came from. I've never, I mean, that, first off, you can't march in high heels. Okay, you can't. Trust me. That's stupid. Okay, that goes overboard. Okay, don't bring stuff up like that to me. All right, because it's probably not true. And I don't do tinfoil hat shit. Okay. My husband retired after 30 years in the Marine Corps, and things are bad enough without fucking lies and bullshit being spread. Okay, don't do that. All right. You know it that's that on the face of it is like Kathy Kennedy holding John Favreau, uh, hostage over Kyle Ron's mask being disappeared. You know, that's the equivalent of it. It's like, what? Bullshit. Okay, bullshit. Um, and Green Berets, because they're SOCOM, don't march very much. Okay. My husband was at SOCOM for 2 years. So I know a lot of Green Berets. A lot. You'd be surprised. Um, uh, anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the validation thing because it really pisses me off. Now, there's a guy, and if Mazurus is still here, he'll jump in, called Dan Decentralized on Twitter, who's wandering around. He just spreads constant bullshit about the sequel trilogies, and it's very interesting to me. What admin? What are you talking about, Parabellum? I'm not woke, and to me, when I look at the stuff, I see a lot. I see sequel trilogy stuff being talked to by certain cadre people. Now we don't know who Dan Decentralized is. I think it's probably somebody at Lucasfilm. It could be somebody that works there, but they're desperate to get people to pay attention to them over the sequel trilogy. And it's like, look, I have the new Dream book from Hallmark, and here's the stuff from the Star Wars part. I want Ahsoka and Grogu's backpack or jetpack adventure, Little Leia, the N1, Boba Fett on the Rancor, and then here, what don't you see? Right? Yeah, that's Boba on the Rancor. You see Empire Strikes Back, carbon freezing. You see Jabba. You see the Katana sail barge. You see the skiff. Go down here, you see Anakin. That is a great sculpt, by the way. Leia and Wicket, and then R2-D2 as selling drakes on the Katana. Now, what don't you see? I'm getting Little Leia too, and Ahsoka, and no sequel trilogy stuff. None. You've got prequel with Anakin. You've got The Mandalorian, and you've got the original trilogy. No sequel trilogy stuff. Obviously, Hallmark isn't going to make sequel trilogy stuff. They're just not. Why? Because it doesn't sell. Okay. It's really interesting to me looking at this and going, no BB-8, and they did have BB-8 a few like last year. Now we may see some BB-8 that just comes out that's not listed. It won't be like official. It'll be there though, but no Rey, no Kyle Ron, nothing, because they don't sell. But if you look, if you go on to Twitter, Dan Decentralized won't shut up about it. The sequel trilogy. And I think it looks to me like it's now a desperate move to protect the sequel trilogy. And I don't think it's not going to work, because after Elon bought Twitter and showed how much fake traffic through bots affected Twitter's trending topics, that Disney won't take it seriously. Look, Twitter doesn't translate into money. It doesn't translate into cash. Okay, Twitter is just a place to talk. It doesn't translate into merchandise being sold, and it doesn't prove that there's a want or need for the sequel trilogy at all. Okay, it proves, in my opinion, that nobody wants it, because they talk about it, and they get pounded on mercilessly, by the way. Anyway, I've been out for a half hour, and the dog is at his beauty parlor. So I'm going to go. I just wanted to talk. The update that I know of from Sparrow is there's a cone of silence at HR, encrypted emails, and the creatives didn't show up yesterday, but that doesn't mean anything, in my opinion, because of the strike going on. So, and honestly, I think now's the perfect time for Disney to drop the hammer. Anyway, so just, keep your eyes open on the industry rags. I have a feeling we're going to find out some stuff fairly soon. I don't know why, I just do. I hope. I hate waiting. Anyway, gotta go. So I'm going to wait for the groomer to call. So I'll see you guys later. See you guys around the galaxy. If anything happens, I'll be back. Talk to y'all later.